right, guys, here we are. We're going to talk about sending it like a pro with the Pro Sendr. See what I did there? Let's get into it. Hey everybody, Scott Oaken coming at you. We're going to talk today about the Pro Sendr. Before we do that, make sure you check out down below. We have our Art of Impact crash course. It's 100% free, where you can just check out all the things that are going to help you master impact, which we all know is really, really important. So don't miss out on that. All right, so we talk about this Pro Sendr. I've been seeing a lot of this lately, right? It's been big on social media. It just really kind of launched where you can purchase it, and a lot of people have been wanting it. I've actually been walking the range and seen a couple people use this device already as well. So let's talk about first, what is the Pro Sendr? Well, the Pro Sendr is very simply, it's kind of like if you took a G Snap from George Gankus and you combined it with the Smart Ball, and that's basically what you're going to be getting here. Now, what it is you got this wrist, they call it the cradle, the wrist cradle, and it's got this strap. You basically can put this on, and it's going to show you how to move your trail wrist, and so that you can actually move it correctly. So you have that, and then this ball, they call it a compression sphere, actually sticks on. It goes in between your wrists, and you're essentially learning how to keep your arms and your wrists from separating, which for those of you that come over the top, get really steep, that's going to be a big issue as you're going through your swing. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the device as we go. Now, disclaimer, I did purchase this myself. They did not send this to me at all. No discounts, no nothing. I just was very interested. And as a teacher, I'm always looking for devices that maybe I can use to help students. And this is something I identified right away as like, hey, this is an issue that I see people have, and I think this is going to be able to help that issue. So I was very interested in getting it and getting to try it out as we go. Now, the big thing with the device, how much does it cost? Let's just start right there. $169.99 US if you're going to buy it at right now at the current price. It's probably going to be something that people look at and say, man, that's pretty expensive for a training aid. I guess that's going to depend on what you think about it. For me, I look at how much people spend on practicing, hey, I'm going to go hit balls and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They typically spend more than that, maybe not all at once, but they're going out and hitting balls and they're actually ingraining bad habits. And so they're like, I want to get better. I'm going to invest time, money. But a lot of people don't invest in training aids. They think, oh, that's expensive or this or that. It's like, well, if it's going to make you practice less, you can actually practice at home. You don't need to go to the range as much. To me, that makes it a much better investment than somebody that doesn't get help in any way, whether it's lessons, aids, anything like that, and they just go hit balls and expect things to change. So it depends on what you think about it, but that is the price. Now, what you get with that, pretty simple. You're going to get the wrist cradle. You get the compression sphere. Very, very minimal. You open the box. That's it. That's all that's in there. They do have a QR code where you can sign up and you get the protocol videos, which you can see actually one of those right behind me. So they do have a series of basically, I would call them introductory protocol videos where you can go through and you get taught how the device works, what to do. They're going to give you some things to do. And I think they're pretty good. And I think honestly, most people are going to be able to get a ton out of these introductory videos. Now, one of the bummers is they do have some more advanced protocol videos that you have to purchase separately. So they have $50 for their advanced protocols where they're going to go through and hit shots. I did purchase those, about 30 minutes or so of extra video, and they kind of explain some stuff. Honestly, again, I think most people are going to get it from the beginner stuff, the introductory stuff that's included. That's where I would stick with most people. And then you can decide later on if you're going to go with the advanced. They also have for $20, they have a short game video where you can go through some short game stuff that I actually did get as well. I thought that would be pretty interesting. And I did find it interesting, kind of showing you some different wrist things that go on in short game and how that works. And then they do have a final video for another $20, which is a practice video. That one I didn't get. Maybe I'll get it down the road. Again, more probably for me as an instructor to want to know things and learn things. But as maybe a student, I would probably say I don't know if you're going to need that again. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you can decide that. You will definitely get a lot out of the main videos. I know some people are going to say, hey, I bought an aid. Why wouldn't you want me to know how to use it and use it properly? Because the number one thing that's going to help an aid out is if it really helps people get better. And so I could see that as an argument and being like, yeah, that would be like, why wouldn't I want to know all the information I could possibly know? So just something to think about there as you're going forward. But again, you're going to get what you mostly need. If you're buying this device and you need it, you're going to get most of it out of the intro videos anyway. Now let's talk about using the device. So super easy to set up. Okay. So obviously you can hear the Velcro on it. What you're doing is you're setting up the device. You're putting the wrist cradle on the trail wrist. So there is a right and a left-handed model. So that's good. Now, as an instructor that has right and left-handed students, that means, all right, I'm going to have to get two of these, but it is a good thing because we want it to be specific to how that hands move. Okay. So it's one of those things you make sure you buy the right hand. Now, as you put this on, super simple, just going to sit right at the base of the wrist. I will say in the introductory videos, they didn't really, I would have liked to have seen a close up of, hey, we're putting this on. Here's where it goes. Cause they do talk about how you want to get this flange or this little notch, as they would call it, and get it on your trigger finger. I think, again, as you're going through, just making sure, hey, that's going to be your pointer finger and making sure it's set right on there. But again, a little bit of a close up that would have been helpful. But just seeing that, hey, it works. It's pretty simple and it's pretty easy to set up. One thing I did find, I'm a bigger guy. I get that. I also have bigger forearms. I've always had that from, baseball, football, all that as a kid. That is something that when I put this device on, it's a little bit of a tight squeeze. So I think for most people, it's probably going to be okay, but it's a little tight squeeze. And the band, I have to stretch it like crazy to get it on so it stays on. All right. So there are times where the device would fall off as I was hitting if I didn't take the time to put it on. Now, I've already noticed after a couple of days of using it, it has stretched a little bit. So it's a little bit easier, but just something to know. If you're one of the bigger guys, I would talk to them first. Hey, if I buy this, what happens if it doesn't fit? What will be that thing I should look out for? Again, most people, you're not going to have a problem. For me, that was just something that it was like, all right, I got to stretch this and get this on. But using the device, really, really good. All of this sounds like there's some negatives and stuff. I have to say overwhelmingly huge positive with this device. It fixes one of the biggest issues we have right now in golf, which is we struggle with educating hands and arms. There's so much talk about how the body moves. What's the body doing? And yeah, is that going to be important? Of course. But the most important part and the thing that I want people to know first is how are you going to deliver your hands and arms? How do your hands and arms move? Your hands and arms provide the speed to your swing. They are the part that moves the fastest. If you ever just stood there and hit a golf ball, put your feet together, made a swing, feel like it's all hands and arms, you're amazed at how far you can hit it without moving a whole lot of the other segments of the body. So we need these hands and arms to work. The other thing that this is doing is it's going to teach you how to square up the face and keep it more square in your golf swing. That is huge. So having that instant feedback really is good. And again, they do a good job in the intro videos of introducing that and saying, hey, this is how you're going to want to do things. So that is a really, really big deal as you go through. I also like the compression sphere. I like using this. I like this for like chipping. I like this. Hey, I'm going to work a little bit on just getting some arm structure as you go through. Now, the one thing is when you put them both together, I can see how it's really, really good. But for me, it was a little bit of like a sensory blitzkrieg. All right. It was really, really overloaded. And I just kind of felt like I was doing too much at one time. So I honestly will probably stick more with the wrist for right now. When I get to the off season, I might throw this back in and see how it works, but just keep that in mind. And also when they do their intro protocols, to be honest, they're doing mainly the wrist. They do a little bit more with it in the advanced protocols with the compression sphere. But again, it's just that kind of shows me where I think the main value of the aid is going to be, which is in this wrist movement as you go. So I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's really helped me. It's helped me identify a couple of things going on in my swing already, which I love, with just some club face issues. Been hitting it solid, but the club face being a little bit off. It's actually helped me with that. And then as we go through, I just feel like it's super helpful in the short game. It's been super, super valuable for me with that part, because again, I think a lot of people think short game, no hands, no wrists, when in reality, I think the best players have a lot of hands and a lot of wrists. So just something you want to think about as you go through. But again, been really good. Really so far, used it with a couple students, really has helped them just get the idea of how the club swings, hit the ball, let's make some contact, and let's see it start going straighter. So if we can educate hands and arms, to me, that's going to be a very valuable thing. So it's an aid that I will be using a lot. I can already see that. I think it can help a lot of people. Who specifically would this help? Well, I think it's going to help a lot of golfers that struggle with getting the club face to stay closed. They really like to fan that club face open. I also think it's going to help a lot with people that struggle with distance. They hit the ball really high. They are adding too much loft at impact. This is going to teach you how, as you're coming down, how to get the club face loaded up so then you can deliver the club with good impact. It also works really well to teach people how to release the club. So if you're lacking distance, I think this can be a great aid for you. But if you're overall just lacking good impact, this would be a great one too. So it covers a lot of bases. And then if you throw in the sphere, people that get steep, people that need to get a little bit more on the shallow side of things, that would really help you out as well. And then obviously you can combine them both if you would like to. So that's something that you want to try out. Make sure you head over. I'll link Pro Sendr and all of them and all their stuff down below. But great aid. Again, just a couple little things in the way it goes, but that I've noticed that's probably more specific to me. Again, being a bigger guy, but also you might say, hey, the price maybe a little on the high end, but again, if it's something that's valuable to you to improve at your game, instead of spending it and going hitting balls all day, all the time, think about how many balls you hit where you don't work on anything and you don't get better. You could do this at home. You could sacrifice some of those golf balls that you're hitting and just work on your move at home. And I think a lot of people would see that they are going to get better as they go. So anyway, if you have any questions about it, let me know down in the comments below. And again, check out our Impact Crash Course. That's in the description. So thanks everybody for watching. Click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.